When it comes to making someone fall in love with you, confidence is by far the most magnetic quality you can possess. Confidence is not about arrogance, flashy gestures, or trying to impress someone with what you have. True confidence comes from knowing who you are, understanding your value, and being completely comfortable in your own skin. When you're secure with yourself, you radiate an energy that others can feel immediately. People are naturally drawn to someone who exudes calm self assurance because it signals stability, strength, and reliability. It tells them without words that you are someone they can trust and someone who doesn't need validation from others to feel complete. Most people make the mistake of thinking that love can be forced through constant attention, flattery, or overeagerness. They believe that the more they chase or try to please, the more likely someone will fall in love with them. The opposite is true. When you overcompensate for insecurity by seeking approval, it communicates neediness and dependence, which is far less attractive than quiet self assurance. Confidence, on the other hand, is magnetic because it is rooted in freedom. It's the freedom to live your life fully, to pursue your passions, and to engage with someone from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. That difference is felt instinctively. People are drawn to energy that doesn't cling or demand. They are drawn to energy that inspires curiosity and respect. Confidence also manifests in how you carry yourself in everyday interactions. It's in your posture, your tone of voice, your eye contact, and the way you engage in conversation. A confident person listens without interruption, speaks without hesitation, and moves without self doubt. They don't over explain or apologize unnecessarily for who they are. This natural presence communicates to the other person that they are in the company of someone who knows their worth. When someone senses that, it triggers a deep emotional response. Attraction grows not from the words you say, but from the feeling your energy creates in their mind and heart. Another reason confidence is so effective in creating love is that it inspires respect. People naturally value those who value themselves. When you're confident, you set a standard for how you expect to be treated, and that standard encourages the other person to rise to it. It communicates that you are not desperate for affection or approval, and it subtly encourages them to invest emotionally because they sense that your attention is not something that can be taken for granted. This dynamic is far more powerful than trying to win someone over through effort alone. Confidence also allows you to be authentic without fear of rejection. When you are grounded in who you are, you don't feel the need to hide your true thoughts, interests, or quirks. That authenticity is incredibly attractive because love flourishes when people feel they can connect with the real version of someone, not a fought aid. It also creates a safe space for the other person to be themselves, which deepens intimacy and emotional connection over time. Ultimately, making someone fall in love is less about grand gestures and more about how your energy makes them feel. Confidence communicates stability, authenticity, emotional strength, all qualities that inspire trust, admiration, and affection. By living from a place of inner security, you naturally draw others toward you without needing to chase or manipulate. Because true confidence creates a magnetic presence that makes them want to be part of your life. One of the most misunderstood yet powerful tools in attraction is being emotionally unavailable in the right way. Now, emotional unavailability doesn't mean being cold, distant, or cruel. It doesn't mean ignoring someone's messages or pretending you don't care. It means creating a subtle balance where you're present, attentive, and engaged, but not desperate, needy, or overly eager for their attention. This kind of energy is magnetic because it allows the other person to invest emotionally without you forcing it upon them. When someone senses that your life isn't revolving around them and that your happiness doesn't depend on their approval, they begin to feel a pull that is impossible to ignore. Most people make the mistake of trying too hard to win someone over. They over text, over call, and over analyze every reaction, hoping to secure their affection. What this really communicates is fear and insecurity. Fear repels attraction, and insecurity drives people away. Emotional unavailability in the right context communicates strength, self respect, and independence. It signals that you are in control of your life and your emotions, and that connection with you is a privilege, not an obligation. That subtle difference sparks curiosity and intrigue in the other person because they have to work to earn your attention and emotional energy. Being emotionally unavailable also allows for the creation of mystery, which is one of the strongest drivers of romantic attraction. When someone feels like they can't predict you entirely, when they know that your world exists beyond their reach, it naturally sparks their interest. They begin to wonder about your thoughts, your activities, and your life outside of the relationship. That curiosity makes them invest mentally and emotionally, often without even realizing it. They begin to think about you during moments when you're not around, which strengthens the bond and slowly builds the foundation for love. The beauty of this approach is that it encourages balance in the connection. You are showing genuine interest and warmth, but you're also protecting your emotional boundaries. You're saying, without words, I have my own life, my own priorities, and my own happiness. You're welcome to be a part of it, but I will not compromise my value to win your attention. That energy communicates power, stability, and security, which are incredibly attractive qualities. People are drawn to those who stand firmly in their own light rather than bending over backwards to please them. Emotional unavailability also allows you to observe the other person's true intentions and commitment. When you are not constantly chasing or overinvesting, It becomes easier to see whether they are willing to reciprocate, whether they are genuinely interested, and how much effort they are willing to put into the connection. It filters out distractions and ensures that emotional energy is invested in someone who genuinely values it rather than someone who takes it for granted. Ultimately, this approach fosters authentic attraction because it is not based on manipulation or games. It is based on creating space for natural curiosity and emotional investment and mutual respect. By being emotionally unavailable in a healthy, confident way, you give the other person the opportunity to fall in love with the real you rather than a version that is desperate for approval. Because when you master subtle emotional unavailability, they invest in you willingly, and that investment is the foundation for lasting love. One of the most effective ways to make someone fall in love with you is to show genuine interest without overdoing it. This doesn't mean showering them with compliments, constantly texting, or asking endless questions just to appear attentive. True, genuine interest is subtle, deliberate, and rooted in emotional intelligence. It's about observing, listening, and understanding their needs, desires, and values while maintaining your own sense of purpose and boundaries. When someone feels truly seen and understood, it awakens an emotional connection that superficial attention or flattery can never achieve. Most people make the mistake of equating love with attention. They believe that the more they show, the more the other person will fall in love. But over attention often leads to emotional suffocation. It creates dependency, pressure, and the impression that happiness revolves around them, which reduces attraction over time. Genuine interest, on the other hand, communicates a deep level of respect and awareness. When you take the time to truly understand their thoughts, feelings, and perspectives, they feel valued in a way that goes beyond surface level interactions. They feel emotionally connected to you because your presence resonates with understanding rather than desperation. Listening is one of the most powerful tools in showing genuine interest. It's not just about hearing their words, it's about understanding the emotion behind them. When someone speaks and you respond thoughtfully, reflecting their feelings and engaging with their ideas, you create a safe space for them to open up. That emotional openness fosters intimacy and trust, two of the strongest drivers of love. The more someone feels safe to share their inner world, the deeper their attachment becomes. When this attachment is built on understanding rather than over eagerness, it strengthens the bond naturally and sustainably. Observing their needs and behaviors is another key component. People reveal a lot through their actions, what they value, what excites them, what they need to feel appreciated. By noticing these patterns and responding appropriately, you communicate that you're paying attention in a meaningful way. This isn't about manipulation, it's about aligning your attention with what genuinely matters to them. They sense that your interest is authentic, and authenticity is one of the most magnetic qualities anyone can possess. When someone recognizes that you are genuinely invested in understanding them, attraction grows effortlessly. It's also essential to balance this interest with space and boundaries. Showing genuine interest doesn't mean you abandon your life or priorities for them. In fact, maintaining your own purpose, passions, and commitments makes your interest more powerful. They see that your attention is not automatic or expected. It's given intentionally, and that intentionality creates value. When your is earned rather than taken for granted, they naturally start to respect and desire it more. Finally, genuine interest encourages emotional reciprocity. When someone feels seen, heard, and understood, they are more likely to invest in the relationship emotionally. They begin to mirror your attentiveness and care, creating a natural flow of affection and attachment. Love, at its core, thrives on this mutual investment. When it's built on genuine interest, it forms a strong, lasting connection rather than a temporary infatuation. Because when you show genuine interest without overdoing it, they feel truly seen and valued, and that feeling is what makes them fall in love with you naturally. One of the most effective ways to make someone fall in love with you is by creating positive emotional experiences together. Emotions are the language of attraction, and people are naturally drawn to those who make them feel good, safe, and alive. When someone associates happiness, laughter, and memorable moments with you, those feelings become attached not just to the activities themselves, but to your presence. The brain forms strong emotional connections through shared experiences, and this is one of the most natural ways to deepen attraction without manipulation or force. Positive emotional experiences begin with being fully present. Many people are physically there in interactions but mentally distracted, thinking about their next move, their phone, or their own agenda. Genuine presence, on the other hand, communicates that you value the time spent with them and that you are invested in the moment. It's in the small details, making eye contact, listening attentively, reacting naturally to their stories, and showing spontaneous enthusiasm for what excites them. Those seemingly small actions accumulate to create an atmosphere where they feel understood, appreciated, and emotionally engaged. Laughter is one of the most powerful tools in creating emotional bonds. Humor triggers the release of endorphins and serotonin, chemicals in the brain associated with happiness and attachment. When you make someone laugh, you are literally creating a physiological connection that associates your presence with positive feelings. Shared laughter also establishes a sense of intimacy and comfort, making it easier for them to open up emotionally. Over time, these repeated positive emotional interactions make them unconsciously crave your company, associating you with joy, comfort, and excitement. Adventure and novelty also play a significant role. When you create experiences that are new, stimulating, or slightly outside their routine, it intensifies the emotional impact. Novelty increases dopamine levels in the brain, which enhances attraction and makes memories more vivid. Whether it's trying a new activity together, exploring a new place, or even sharing a spontaneous moment, these experiences create excitement and emotional resonance that strengthens their feelings toward you. People naturally remember how you make them feel far more than the words you say. It's important to note that these positive emotional experiences don't require grand gestures or manipulation. You don't need to plan elaborate surprises or try to win someone over with material displays. The key is to cultivate moments that feel authentic and enjoyable. When someone senses that your energy is genuine, fun, and emotionally uplifting, it draws them closer effortlessly. Authenticity amplifies the effect because it communicates that you're confident, relaxed, and comfortable in your own skin, qualities that are inherently attractive. Another aspect of creating positive emotional experiences is consistency. One great moment might be memorable, but repeated experiences build lasting attachment. When they consistently feel happy, comfortable, and alive around you, it strengthens the subconscious bond. They begin to look forward to seeing you, to sharing more moments, and to investing emotionally because those experiences are tied to you. Positive emotional associations, when repeated over time, form the foundation of lasting attraction and even love. Because when you create positive emotional experiences, you don't just make them enjoy their time with you, you make them associate joy, excitement, and comfort with your presence, and that feeling is what makes them fall in love naturally. One of the most subtle yet powerful ways to make someone fall in love with you is by mirroring their energy and building chemistry. Mirroring doesn't mean copying them in an obvious or fake way. It's about aligning with their emotions' tone, pace, and body language in a natural and respectful way. When someone senses that you're attuned to them, that you understand them on an unspoken level, it creates a sense of comfort, trust, and connection. It's almost like their brain recognizes you as someone who is in sync with them, and that neurological response can trigger feelings of attraction without them even realizing why. Chemistry begins with emotional alignment. If someone is feeling happy, playful, or excited, reflecting that same energy back to them creates an invisible bond. You don't have to force it. You simply engage authentically and respond in a way that matches their emotional state. When they notice that your energy feels familiar and comforting, they begin to feel safe and open around you. That safety allows them to drop walls they might have built, making room for genuine emotional intimacy. The more emotionally in sync you are, the stronger the connection becomes, and the easier it is for them to develop deeper feelings. Mirroring also extends to conversation style and body language. People are naturally drawn to those who move and speak in ways that feel familiar to them. Matching subtle gestures, posture, or speech patterns creates a subconscious resonance. It's why we often feel chemistry with someone we've just met. It's an unspoken alignment of energy that makes interactions feel smooth and effortless. By being attuned to these subtleties, you can foster an environment where the other person feels understood and comfortable, which is the perfect foundation for love to grow. Another critical aspect of building chemistry is timing and pacing. When you match their tempo, whether in conversation, humor, or emotional expression, you show that you're engaged and present. If they slow down, you slow down. If they become more energetic, you naturally rise to that level. This creates a flow where they feel that you're moving through experiences together rather than forcing a disconnect. People are drawn to those who can keep pace with them emotionally because it mirrors the way they process the world. That synchronization generates a subtle but powerful attraction that goes beyond words. Chemistry is also built by being responsive without being overbearing. You mirror their energy while still maintaining your own confidence and individuality. It's not about losing yourself or bending over backward to match them in every moment. Instead, it's about creating a dance where both of you feel aligned, yet both retain your authenticity. That balance communicates emotional intelligence and emotional availability in a way that draws them closer. They feel a pull because they sense a connection that feels effortless and mutually engaging. Finally, the combination of mirroring and chemistry triggers an emotional feedback loop. The more they feel attuned to you, the more they invest emotionally, which in turn strengthens their feelings of attraction. Laughter becomes louder, smiles become more frequent, and moments together feel richer and more memorable. When someone experiences this kind of deep, effortless connection repeatedly, it lays the groundwork for love. They start to associate your presence with emotional resonance, comfort, and excitement, all qualities that make them fall naturally. Because when you mirror their energy and build genuine chemistry, they feel an unspoken bond, and that bond is what makes them fall in love with you naturally. One of the most powerful ways to make someone fall in love with you is by living your life fully and being irresistibly authentic. Authenticity is magnetic because it communicates self assurance, emotional stability, and integrity. People are naturally drawn to those who embrace who they truly are without pretending or putting on a facade. When you live fully, pursuing your passions, nurturing your goals, and embracing your purpose, you create an energy that is compelling and inspiring. That energy signals that you are already complete on your own, and being around someone as whole naturally sparks admiration and attraction. Living fully doesn't mean constantly performing or showing off. It means engaging in activities that matter to you. investing in your personal growth, and expressing yourself honestly in every interaction. When someone sees that you have a life filled with purpose, they begin to feel drawn to it, not because you need them to be, but because your fulfillment radiates a unique energy they want to be part of. People are wired to admire passion, dedication, and focus. Those who pursue their own happiness and success are perceived as high value, and that perception fuels attraction in a way that chasing or trying too hard never can. Authenticity goes hand in hand with confidence. When you are unapologetically yourself, you communicate that you don't need external validation to feel worthy. You don't overcompensate for insecurity by seeking attention or approval. Instead, you interact from a place of abundance, allowing the other person to feel that they are choosing to be with you rather than feeling obligated. That subtle shift in dynamic is powerful because it encourages them to invest emotionally. They feel the freedom to connect because your presence is not a demand, it's an invitation. Being fully engaged in your life also creates a sense of mystery and intrigue. When you have goals, hobbies, social circles, and ambitions that occupy your energy, you are naturally less predictable. This unpredictability keeps the other person curious. They begin to wonder what you're doing, how you think, and what experiences you're pursuing. That curiosity fosters emotional investment, which is a critical component of falling in love. People are drawn to those who have depth, purpose, and a sense of individuality because it stimulates both their mind and heart. Another key aspect of living fully is that it allows for emotional balance in relationships. When you are fulfilled in yourself, you are less likely to cling, overreact, or create unnecessary tension. Instead, you bring stability, positivity, and calm energy into interactions. That energy is magnetic because it makes the other person feel safe, respected, and appreciated. They don't feel smothered or pressured. They feel drawn to you because being with you feels naturally rewarding. Over time, this consistent emotional balance strengthens attachment and deepens love. Finally, authenticity nurtures mutual respect and admiration. When someone sees that you are true to yourself, committed to your values, and living with purpose, they begin to mirror those qualities subconsciously. They start to respect your boundaries, appreciate your energy, and desire to be part of your world. This dynamic forms a foundation where love can grow organically. People don't fall in love with someone who simply tries to please them. They fall in love with someone who embodies life, passion, and authenticity in every moment. Because when you live fully and remain irresistibly authentic, they are naturally drawn to your energy, and that attraction is what makes them fall in love with you.